You know, like I cut my teeth here in Bellingham on the Chuckanut 50K course, and 21 years later, I'm still the race director of that event. And even though I've tried to prove that Pacific Northwest is not home, I keep coming back and making this home, and I'll stick with the Chuckanut too as one of those highlights. My name's Krissy Moehl. I live in Bellingham, Washington, and somehow I've made a life as an ultra-distance trail runner. In 2005, I got it in my head to be the youngest female to finish the Grand Slam of ultra running, which is the 4 oldest 100-mile races. And it's 400 milers in about 11 weeks, so you're constantly in recovery mode and trying to just get ready for the next one. And that's Western States, Vermont, Leadville, and Wasatch. And then there's somewhere along the line, Old Dominion became an option. But for myself in 2005, I ran the original 4. That was definitely the hardest race to get through. And I remember having the conscious effort of, whatever happens, I just have to finish this race. It might mean months of not getting to run again for a while, but thankfully I didn't completely damage myself. But that was the toughest one to get through. And that took me all over the country. Internationally, I'd have to say I loved racing in Japan. That was a favorite. I got to go back, I think 3 different times for 3 different events. The Hard Rock 100 down in the San Juans of Colorado was, well, it's actually her namesake. Piedra Dura is hard rock in Spanish. So Bahidi has done an ultra. She ran 34 miles with me and a buddy who was running the longest distance he'd ever run at that point out at Spider Gap. There's tons of snow, we were up on the glaciers. She rocked it. She had so much fun. She took such good care of herself. It got hot at the end and she just kept finding water and dunking and getting in there. And she's really good about telling me when she does want to go, like leaning against the door, kind of wiggling, ready to go, or just sitting on her bed. But she has her moments, like zoomy moments. And definitely with the moments of like, dog, what are you doing? But I think that's what builds like character of the relationship. I guess we'll back up to 2010 was when I quit my real job. I was working for a nonprofit down in Bend, Oregon called the Conservation Alliance. My 2 mottos were I had to keep enjoying it and I couldn't go into debt doing it. And I think those motives have carried me through so far, because the turning your passion into the way you make a career, I think there's some really scary moments there where you need to have that creative space to allow it to be just that, your passion. I won't do anything that challenges my passion for it. So like the last 5 years, I haven't really raced as much because that wasn't bringing that full circle energy like it used to. Having had that competitive career, traveling the world, that fed me for a long time as well. It's not like that's wrong now or anything. That was a part of building to where I am now. So soon after I quit my job at the nonprofit, I received an email from somebody I'd never met before, and he asked me to be his coach. He wanted me to coach him for running ultra distances. And I was like, I've never coached anyone. What are you thinking? And he said, I think you've done amazing things, and I think you have the demeanor to work with people, and I want to be your first client. We went back and forth a little bit, but it took me about 9 months, and then I reached back out, and that's when we formed the relationship. And he will ever remain my first and the inspiration for me to coach. So in fall of 2008, I got the call from a contact there to be invited onto the team of Patagonia Ambassadors. They were looking for a female trail runner, and with earlier connections, my name came up in a lot of different spots, and I was super honored and remained honored like 15 years later to stay on that team. And I think today it still remains one of the highlight days of my life. Just like, oh my gosh, they're seeing me in this light this way. This is 15 years ago, and it's been incredible. I've grown up as a Patagonia kid, adult, ambassador, and I'm really thankful for what that brand holds and then how they hold space for the athletes within it. We're not touted for our accomplishments. Those are maybe icing on the cake. Our job as ambassadors is to wear test products. We're working through fabrics and design styles, and that's where our job is. That's what we're hired to do. And then everything else is just participation, who you are. I don't know, I feel pretty lucky, gifted, just amazing that I get to see the brand through so many different changes and continuity of the people that they hire and the other ambassadors that they bring on. It's this very cohesive vibe that continues no matter who's there. So to witness that's pretty awesome.